Welcome to Scone Baking Beyond. Hi, I'm Kathy, and I enjoy making scones, muffins, cookies, and all sorts of delicious baked goodies. I love autumn when pumpkins are in season. So today I'm sharing with you my recipe for pumpkin pie muffins with a pecan praline topping. These muffins have the wonderful flavors of pumpkin pie, and I add a little crunch to the top of them with my pecan praline topping. My pumpkin pie muffins are the perfect way to start your cool autumn mornings. So let's bake. The first thing we want to do is make our pecan praline. So what I have here is 1/3 cup of chopped pecans, and I'm going to put it in my dry skillet. This is just a dry skillet. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to toast these pecans on medium-low heat. And you want to stir this constantly, and it's going to take about 3 minutes. Okay, they're nicely toasted, so now it's time to add 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of corn syrup, and just a pinch of salt. Stir constantly until the sugar is dissolved and melted. And all those wonderful pecan bits are covered with this sugar. This will take about 3 minutes. Okay, it's been about 3 minutes. The sugar is all nice and melted. The pecans are toasted. Now they're all candied up, so I'm going to turn off the heat. Take this off the heat. Add 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. There we go. Get that all mixed in there. And we're going to transfer this to a parchment line board here and let that cool down. There we go. And spread that out a little bit so it can cool down. And this is what we're going to top these delicious muffins with. So there we go. We're going to let this cool down and set this aside. For just a little added pumpkin pie flavor, I'm going to make a little pumpkin pie cream cheese topping to put on top of these muffins. So I have here a medium bowl, and I'm going to add 4 ounces of pumpkin puree. You can either use from the can or your own pumpkins out of the garden or from the store. I have here 2 ounces of softened cream cheese, 1 ounce of sweetened condensed milk, 1 egg yolk, 1/4 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice just to give it that pumpkin pie flavor, and 1/8 teaspoon of salt. There we go. And we're going to whisk these together until it's smooth. Okay, it's nice and smooth, so we're going to set this aside for later. So now it's time to get our ingredients together for the muffins themselves. So I have here 1½ cups of unbleached flour. I have 1/2 cup of whole wheat pastry flour. I like adding a little whole wheat flour to my baked goods, and I use whole wheat pastry flour because it's lighter in texture. I have here 1½ teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice because these are pumpkin pie muffins, 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. We're going to whisk our dry ingredients together. And we're going to set this aside for right now. And then it's time to put together our wet ingredients. So I have here 1/4 cup of buttermilk, 2 eggs, 3/4 cups of brown sugar, 1/3 cup of oil, and I use canola oil, and 1 cup of pumpkin puree. And we're going to whisk this together until they're combined. Okay, it's totally combined. And now we're going to add our wet ingredients to our dry ingredients. We're just going to stir this until it's just combined. You don't want to overmix your muffins. Okay, our batter's all mixed up, and now it's time to scoop. So I have here a muffin tin that I've sprayed with some cooking spray on there. And I always wipe down the cooking spray because I always think it's a little too much. So I always kind of give it a little wipe down. So you want to scoop about 1/3 cup into each one of these little muffin cups here. I like using a scooper because it controls how much I put in there. There we go. I added a little indentation to all of them. And what we're going to do is I have the scooper, and it's about 2 teaspoons. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to top each one of these with our pumpkin pie cream cheese filling. So it's like adding a little pumpkin pie to each one of these muffins. And I'm going to take a little skewer and I'm just going to swirl them around on top. You could just use a toothpick if you don't have a skewer. There we go. All right. And now it's time to put the wonderful pecan praline topping on top. Oh, wonderful crunchiness. Now they kind of stick together. You can just take your paper here and just kind of give it a little whack on the counter. And just try to break these up as small as you can. So we're just going to add a little bit on each one. Keep on adding till we run out of our little topping. There. And just need to pat it down a little bit, just so that they kind of cook in there a little bit better. Because otherwise they kind of sit up a little bit tall on the muffins and they kind of fall off. That isn't such a bad thing, because when they fall off, you just eat them. I preheated my oven to 350 degrees and we're going to bake these for about 25 minutes. Okay, it's been 25 minutes and they smell wonderful. So when I make muffins, I like to just kind of lift them up out of the bottom and let some of the steam out. And that helps prevent some soggy bottoms. So I'm just going to go through each one of these, open them up, let the little bit of steam out. We're going to let these cool completely, and then it's time to try one. Well, they've cooled down now, and so it's time to try one. So I have here, you can see the pumpkin cream cheese topping on top, the wonderful crunchy pecan praline on top. Oh, they smell so good. Let's open it up here. I'm just going to open it up by pulling it apart. Oh, look inside. Oh, that's a beautiful muffin in there. You can smell the pumpkin pie spice. It's nice and warm and comforting. So now it's time to try a bite. You get the crunch of those pecan praline on top, and then the pumpkin flavor with the pumpkin pie spice. Just it tastes like a pumpkin pie in a muffin. This is so good. For the complete recipe, please go to my website, sconebaking.com. There is a link below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe for future videos. I hope this inspires you to bake. Thank you for watching.